Okay, and we're live. Welcome to the stream, everyone. We got a fun one today. We got some cat format again, just like with last week, to prepare for the next not the next locals. This is the next locals. Prepare for the monthly tournament happening, which will be happening next weekend. So, I will be announcing when exactly that is at the end of the stream. So look forward to that. But I gotta have something at the end to keep people watching all the way. So yeah, but it should be fun, and it'll be interesting to see what people do with that. And yeah, looks like we've got in everyone who we're gonna get in, I guess. But we got 5 people playing total, and it should be okay. No, actually, we're getting a 6th. Okay, cool. So that means that we'll get a full bracket here, or full even bracket, and that should be fun. So yeah, but hey, Rose, with me, like today, not much. I've had a busy week, but that just happens there. Oh, awesome. So Prada said that they'll join as well. So we'll get a 7th as well. Did DB just go down? DB is still up for me as far as I can see, but hopefully it didn't go down. That'd be very sad. No, it's up here, at least I see. Yeah. But okay, so this should be a good one. We'll get 7 people, it seems like. Maybe we'll get even an 8th. Yeah. But yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, I had a busy week this week. Yeah, you can sign up, Rose. If you follow the Discord link in the description, and just sign up at that Discord by going to the locals channel and then typing /join, you can sign up as well. So yeah, we'd be happy to have you there. Yeah, 8 is ideal, so that'd be great. But yeah, you do have to have a deck ready for it, but hopefully you do. And if you don't, you can check on formatlibrary.com for their cat format coverage. They have some past tournaments with some example lists there that you can use. So yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, they got a deck. Okay, cool. Let's do this thing. Okay, yeah. So Blah is going to be the 6th, and then we'll get Prada and Rose as the 7th and 8th. So that'll be great. We will have a full 8-person tournament, which is honestly a great number to have, because it makes the math work out really well in terms of like how things develop. So yeah, it should be fun. But yeah, I can't wait to dive into cat format as well. I still got Teldad go through actually, because I've got a couple more videos I need to make for that, which I was planning on getting out this week. Unfortunately, things took longer than expected and some other things, so I couldn't quite get those out yet. But I do have the duels ready for my next video, so that'll be out soon, probably tomorrow. And I'll be trying to get some duels for the video after that later tonight. So hopefully that'll also go up pretty soon. So that way I can get out the cat-related stuff before the actual tournament starts. Yeah, because Teldad in terms of coverage is going to be like pretty short overall. So, yeah, it should be fun. G Lamb says Darkstrike Fighter was insane if it connects and sacks itself. That's 4K. 2 of them is game, and with Black Wings and cat combos, that isn't hard to do. Yeah, that's why cat format has sort of an interesting reputation, because the games go very, very quick, and it's a lot of damage coming out all at once. But it is still fun. People enjoy it. And from last week's locals, I understand why. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think it'll be fun once I dive into it. Yeah. And Janjo says Dark Strike format is wild. Honestly, it could be called Dark Strike format. I think people generally don't like 2-word formats. Maybe that's why it isn't that. I don't know, honestly. Because Dark Strike is a good name for it, even though the cat combo deck, was the deck that I think won the original event. It's still fun. But yeah, Prada has joined up, so we're just waiting on Rose. So hopefully Rose gets here soon. Okay, yeah, I just saw that they typed in join, so that means they should be ready to go soon, and then we'll get this party started. It's always fun, refreshing, and seeing the people filing in. So yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, 8 people is ideal. So thank y'all for signing up. But yeah. I'm excited to see how this plays out because last week's locals did not go as expected. There's only one Blackwing player and they lost first round. And Glad Beast was actually the deck of that locals. It actually managed to win the whole thing, and it was very exciting. So, I'm curious to see what other people bring. Jane says, I called that personally. I asked Chaz why it was called Cat, and that's because he didn't want to call it Darkstrike Fighter format. As to why he didn't just shorten it to Darkstrike IDK, be the change you want to see in the world. I am not going around and advocating for different format names anymore. I've learned my lesson with Breaker/Scientist format. Whatever you want to call that format. I think it just led to more confusion. So I'm just going to be like, you know what? They call it Cat format on Format Library. That's just what I'm going to go for it. So that's what I'm doing with Cat format. But I think Darkstrike format, it makes sense as well. Darkstrike Fighter format, I understand why you didn't want to call it Darkstrike Fighter format because it's a lot of words jumbled together there. But yeah, I mean, if the format gets another big push with like people pushing behind it and going for Darkstrike format, it probably could catch on. Like that's kind of what happened with Redo format, where Redo was originally called Wind Up format on Format Library, and then they tried to revitalize it as Redo format, and it's been catching on. So I wish the Redo format people luck in doing that. It should be hopefully another fun format that we have to sort of having that stable of formats that people can play like pretty consistently. And that's part of why I'm like doing sort of what I'm doing here on the channel is because like I just want to show off as many formats as possible. So Redo the Redo, exactly. I mean, I like Redo as a name because it both harkens to the set name and also it's like a redo, right? And like you're kind of redoing the past, which is kind of what retro formats are all about, right? So like I think it's a catchy name. I think it fits thematically. And I think it's like sort of along the lines of something like GOAT format, where GOAT also has a catchy name, where it's, both referring to the scapegoat cards, but also referring to being the greatest format of all time, right? Greatest of all time, GOAT format, right? So it works on multiple levels there. You could even say Edison format works on multiple levels. Yeah, no worries, Rose. It can be a bit tricky. I think another person was having issues with it, and they had to do like the YDKE file, which you can download off DB as well. So maybe that will help. But yeah, no worries if there are technical difficulties. So that does happen. So worst case scenario, you can send me your list and I can try manually sign you up with the bot. So yeah, if you want to do that as well, that is also acceptable. I won't show it on screen. I've got a dual monitor thing, so I will not sort of spoil your deck for the masses out there. But yeah, so a couple different options there. But yeah, once the locals get started, it should be fun. But it's not like we're in a rush here, right? It's like, I can do this for like the next 3 hours or so if I need to. So, process now we need to see the sauce. Well, maybe after the event, we'll see some of the spicier lists. But honestly, I don't generally show off the list from the locals just in case people are using that for like testing out what they're going to bring to the multi-day event. So I probably won't do that after the stream, unless people say like, yeah, go show my list. It was an interesting thing that I'm not really planning on doing anything else with. So, yeah, that's perfectly fine, Rose. Yeah, if you send it to me, I should be able to sign you up. Yeah, just if you could send me the YDK file as opposed to like a screenshot or something, that would be preferred though. Just because like I can do it off the screenshot, but then I have to construct the deck in DB, which is like, I mean I can do it. It's just takes more time. So, yeah. Yeah, hopefully this all works. But it's just building suspense, and that gets people invested. It's like, ooh, what's going to happen? Who's going to come out on top? What are people going to bring? We got a lot of people here. But yeah, it should be fun. Yeah. How are y'all doing out there? Anything fun happened this week to y'all? Any cool books you read? Any cool movies you watched? What's going on out there? Okay, it looks like they have sent it. Okay, I will download that and try and use it. If I encounter issues, I'll try and tinker with it a bit more. So here we go. Send a player. There we go. And let's try and upload this file. Let's see if that works. Okay, it looks like it worked. So they should hopefully be signed up. And yep, there we go. Okay, perfect. So now we can get this party started. So let's refresh that. Start event after setting it to unranked because, you know, it's a locals. So we want it to be a bit more casual if people don't want it to be like that competitive. So yeah, no worries, Rose. Thank you for playing. I'm looking forward to seeing what you bring. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all the games, honestly. So now we got the games up, people will start hosting, and we can dive in. Of course, it'll probably take people a moment to like host and you know get into it, but should be fun. Looks like Run from Red is hosting for Mr. Dump Truck, and PJ is hosting for Rose. So we got 2 games already hosting, so they will be able to start soon. And it looks like History of YGO1 is hosting for Shabamon. So that's 3 of the 4 games starting off. And then we just need Anti-Kevin Wagamuffin, and then we'll be grooving. Okay, it looks like, okay, there's Anti-Kevin Wagamuffin. It looks like History of YGO1 versus Shabam 4 is happening here. Let me mute the dual sounds there. So, Shabam was so close to getting a free win. Yeah, the bye. No bye here. Only hello. That's what we're doing here. Okay, an alert coming down from History of YGO1. Could be a couple different decks there. Dad decks do play Allure. Blackwings play Allure. There are a lot of decks that are playing Darks. Zombies is another deck that can play Allure. It looks like that is what History of YGO1 is on, with the Plague Spreader Zombie, you know, sort of image there, so it makes sense. Yeah, they're about to drop some knowledge on Shabam. Well, we'll have to see if Shabam's the one dropping knowledge instead here with their turn, with the Soul Recharge pitching the Wolf, drawing 2, milling 2, not milling a Wolf. So just drawn into the hand. That's my classic Lightsworn experience, you know. But, you know, doing that, they draw deeper in the deck. They get a brick out of their hand. So we'll have to see if they're able to actually use what they've got to actually do a big play. They have 2 Lightsworn names engraved, so not quite enough for a JD yet, but Foolish will potentially help with that unless they want to go for a Wolf. Honestly, I think Foolish for Wolf makes the most sense here, just because you don't know what your opponent has, so this like sort of baits out interaction that they might have there. So Wolf attempting to come to field, and it looks like it will indeed come to field, so there it is. And then it will be tributed for Celestia. Okay, pretty big play there. Celestia very, very good. Trying to use its effect, targeting the set monster and the set back row. Now there is a Solemn. The Solemn has to be used before the you know activation. But damn, Crush card. Okay, so the Wolf will not actually come out. I think the Wolf isn't Wolf on a new chain, right? No, the Wolf is on a new chain, right? Because it gets milled for the cost. Yeah, and then after the Crush card, because Crush card's chain link too, right? So yeah. Yeah, okay. Looks like we got it there. So they did drop some knowledge on Shabam there. But yeah, that hit a JD as well. There are 4 Lightsworn names in Grave now for later. There's also a Plague Spreader in Grave, which can be pretty crazy here. Although I'm not sure what level 6 you'd really go into on this board right now. So you might want to save Plague for later. But yeah, Wolf attacking in for 21 here. That will indeed connect. And main 2, Shabam thinking here. I don't think you necessarily go into a Plague. You've got Necro if you need to block some attacks. So I think you can sort of wait and use the Plague later for a bigger play. But yeah, Necro is in History of YGO1's grave as well. Sidra coming down here. So Sidra can crash with the Wolf potentially. Although they do know the hand. I don't know if Honest is in hand. But that would be pretty big. Doomcal coming down here. So Doomcal is sort of a mixed bag, honestly, on this board because Necro can very easily out it. But it's not, like, terrible. Braincon is going to come down here, so going to take the Wolf, and this will be 4,200 plus 1,900 damage if the Necro does not block the Doomcal. I think the Necro is going to get used here, though. Yep, there it goes. So the Doomcal will negate it, and, you know, effectively that just outed the Doomcal, right? Which is not ideal, but it is something. Yeah, and the Wolf and the Cider will attack in. Normal Summon has been used, so you can't tribute over the Wolf, and Wolf will return back to Shabam there. Crush card is still active, so that card will be revealed. It's a Necro Gardener. Necro Gardener, pretty good draw here. If you can't do like a crazy play, you can potentially just set it on field just to wall off some attacks. But yeah, Shabam is pretty low, so getting that engrave would be kind of nice. If you can get another Lightsworn on field here as well, you could potentially stack the Necro with the Plague and just get it on field. Looks like they are going to try and go for another Lightsworn there, going for a Lila. Lila using the effect to try and pop the set. It is going to be Scapegoat, so that's going to get 4 goat tokens out there on field. Now, this is kind of an interesting scenario here. I feel like the right move is to go, yeah. I wonder why. Okay, yeah, there they go. They're stacking. Yep. Yeah, you stack the Necro, go into Plague, and then you sync off with the Wolf. And then you can have the Lila mill the Necro at the end of the turn. And if they use Necro of their own here, because they do have a Necro Garden engrave, then their zones are just clogged up, right? So you either take the Sidra or the zones are too clogged to do anything. It looks like the Sidra attack will go through. I feel like Shabam's just going to take the Sidra because there's not really much reason not to here. It's just a free body. And you don't really care too much about like Chimeritic Overdragon stuff. But yeah, it's going to mill the Necro, a Cold Wave, and a Beckoning here. So pretty good turn for Shabam here overall. Now the Lila is very vulnerable. That can be attacked over very easily. But History of Wajo 1 does have a pretty big board set up here. So if Shabam can't get into their JDs or something like that to get back the JD to then blow up the board, this is going to be a bit of a long one here for them. And they might potentially mill out as a possibility, although oftentimes Lightsworn decks don't necessarily mill out because they just have so much explosive power. And by the time they've milled up most of their deck, they generally have ways to get things back. But Shabam's going to attack into that token there and then attack into the set. That's interesting. I would have potentially attacked into the token instead, but the Morphing Jar will go through there. So that's going to lose Shabam and Honest and the T-Roar. Morphing Jar, interesting pick for a zombie deck. I understand why you'd do it. No. Is it? Oh yeah, it still is that turn. Yeah, so that will indeed be bad there. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like against zombies, you don't want to attack into the set monster because like it could be Turtle, right? It could be like Sangan. It could be Goblin Zombie. It could be a lot of things just to get History Wide 1 back into the game. So you kind of just want to attack into the token most of the time. Here, honestly, you probably want to take the Morphing Jar, though, as well, unless you're worried about your zones getting clogged, just because it's another body, right? Like, you don't necessarily want to lose all your life points here, which zombies can combo off a bit and potentially, you know, break through a fair amount of stuff. So, yeah, they are going to take the Morphing Jar there. And, yeah, I don't know. I think that was a bit of a misplay from Shabam. I mean, the Morphing Jar is the hardest punish that could probably happen there. But I think even if it wasn't Morphing Jar, it's still a bit of a misplay to attack into it because you want, you know, to force History of Wajo 1 into other things here. So, yeah, I mean, we do see a Beckoning in the grave. So if they've got other Beckonings, they might have a way to get back that Judgment Dragon and just bring it out later. But right now, it's not looking too hot for Shabam here. Now, they do have the aggressive pressure, right? MST on the back row. So what will that be? That will be a Beckoning Light. So that will indeed get back the JD probably, I assume. It's going to pitch the MST and the Necro there. Another Necro engrave is great. Getting back double JD, and double JD is a very, very threatening thing to have here. And actually, History Wide 1 just scooping it up, saying, I can't deal with double JD. I think there are worlds in which, there's probably not. Well, the Necro's engrave. So if they go JD, try and nuke the board, right? Just to play around whatever back row you might have. Then bring out another JD, right? That's 6k damage, but they can't actually break through the Necrogarden you have engraved. So it's not the end of the game, but it is definitely very close. But if you could stall for one more turn, then Shabam potentially mills out. So I don't know. I think it probably was a lost game for SGY1. But I'm generally in favor of, like, unless the writing is completely on the wall, I'm in favor of just playing it out more. But it seems like Rose has won game 1 here. PJ on DDV. Oh, my word. Oh, no. Terror of Edison makes itself known in Cat. But yeah, DDV can be pretty brutal, attributing a Fusilier there. And they got Future Fusion coming later. So it seems like PJ's on a bit of a machine deck, which is kind of interesting. Seems like Rose is on a Twilight Sworn list, it seems. They've got some darks here. They've got, like, Plague Gale, things like that. So, yeah, it's cool to see different flavors of Lightsworn here. Of course, this format does come before the eponymous Lightsworn format, which happens later. James asks, what's going to be my 2K sub special? I don't quite know yet. It's a very interesting question. For my 1K sub special, I got a box of Legend of Blue Eyes, and I opened that. I don't know if any of the Metal Raiders reprint boxes are still around for, like, a cheap price, but if they are, then that could be something fun to do, and I might do that. But, yeah, I don't know. Well, I can also just do a poll and ask people what they want for it. That's assuming I make 2K subs. You know, we are close, but nothing's a guarantee. So, you know, maybe we'll just be forever, you know, 1 or 2 subs away from 2K. I hope not. I hope we surpass that. That would be fun to just get up above that threshold. But who knows? It could be. Yeah, restart series. Yeah, maybe. That every 1K subs, you know, we restart the series and go back to the beginning, back in time. That'd be wild. But yeah, setting up that Plague Spreader Zombie there for the Crush card and revealing they're on Titanial and Lone Fire as well. This is actually really, really interesting. A lot of stuff is going on in Rose's deck here. They're playing like Lightsworn Plants. Like, that's really cool. Oh my god. Eradicator Epidemic Virus as well. So PJ playing Virus Machine Turbo. That's crazy. Yeah, and hitting the Mark of the Rose and the DDR from the hand. Now, as a note, there's no Hidden Armory in this format. So you can't really play like full Gigavise or Amaryllis. Because Hidden Armory kind of makes that deck tick a little bit. But, oh my word. I don't know what PJ is playing. They're playing like Virus, Dragon, Machine, something. But yeah, as Janjo says, all the virus. And that's what's happening here. Yeah, and that will attack over the Lila there. You could have sworn they had a Necro Engrave. I think I'm thinking of last game here. But, oh, man, this is just brutal. Brutal stuff. And we know about Crush Card Virus, too, right? Yeah, Amaryllis is out, but so you can play Amaryllis. But that is brutal. I mean, you probably don't flip the Crush card here because you don't want to get the Amaryllis Engrave. It's just annoying. So you probably just keep poking with the Plague. But oh my word, this deck is toxic. I don't know what PJ cooked up, but it's wild for sure. Yeah, just poking him for 4. And then probably just going the next turn, probably. Oh yeah, CZV does indeed trigger here. So Rose does get to know what it is. It's a Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, and honestly, that is probably a bit worse to get engrave than to not. Because there is the Red Eyes Wyvern engrave. So Wyvern can bring back that Metal Dragon there. And that's going to be a bit rough. Fufu is also kind of rough here, potentially. If you're playing like the Jinzo Returners and stuff, then you can do that. But that's, I don't know if you play Jinzos in a deck that's based so much around Virus Traps. But it's definitely very interesting here. Yeah, I think Rose might be a little bit cooked. You can get like triple Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon here, which is kind of cracked. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 more makes 5. I mean, you've got everything you want engraved anyways, so I guess, yeah, Dad, that works, sure. Being like, I got too many darks engraved anyways, this thing's just a brick now. And yeah, end of turn. The Wyverns can just all trigger their effects, just bring back those Darkness Metal Dragons, and set it up for some crazy plays. Now, as a note, there's no Dragons Engrave after this that you can special summon off of Darkness Metal. because the dad is not able to be special summoned except with its own effect. So, oh, can you only do this? Is this a hard ones? I don't think it's a hard ones. I think you can just do all of them. But, I mean, with the Darkness Metal Dragon on the field, you can just do them all anyways here. So I get why you're taking it slow. So that makes sense. Drawing Power Filter as well. Oh my god. Jeez. This is Floodgate the deck, Virus the deck, Toxicity the deck, whatever you want to call it. This is just nasty. But this should probably be lethal. You do Darkness Metal Dragon, supposed to summon out Darkness Metal Dragon, and then you get out another Darkness Metal Dragon, and then you bring out a Wyvern on top of that, and then that is definitely lethal damage. You can also, yeah, it's the 2020 deck. It's the COVID deck right here. Yeah, and there's the Wyvern. You can go into a 6 here, like a Goyo or something if you want to. But honestly, I don't think you need to. I think you just have enough damage here to win. But you can even go into Red Eyes or Red Dragon Archfiend if you want to, stacking with the... It's just nasty. So much stuff going on there. Let's dive into Anti-Kevin and Wagamuffin now. Seems like Wagamuffin is on Black Wings here, the classic. And, okay, it looks like this was just singles. So I don't know who has won so far and who has not won, but... or if this is still game 1. It could be game 1 as well. But seems like they're playing Fusion Guard in the deck. Very interesting. I'm not really sure what this really hits because Fusion Guard, it only activates when an effect that inflicts damage is activated. So, like, I don't know what cards you're really worried about there. I guess Dark Strike Fighter. I guess that's the thing you're worried about. So it is Dark Strike Fighter tech. So that's interesting. That's probably why it's there. But I feel like there are other just better counter traps you can use. Like Divine Wrath is probably the better one. Because Divine Wrath can hit like a Summoner Monk to prevent you from actually being able to get to the Dark Strike Fighter. So, Fusion Guard's cute though. It doesn't cost a card from hand, so that's neat. But yeah, is it worth it? I don't necessarily think so, but yeah, he is a bit memeing here, as Blazon56 says. Oh yeah, actually, this was a Zane card, to be fair. So yeah, he is playing the Zane Dream. Okay, it looks like that was the final game there, and that will be it for there. But yeah, he's just playing the Zane True Steel Dream. Although I don't know, Zane is like one of the darkest arcs in like a Yu-Gi-Oh anime. So like, I don't. Hopefully they're not playing it all the way out to that end, but hopefully they're not, you know, hooking their heart up to a monitor and like whenever they lose life points, they just zap themselves. That'd probably turn out pretty badly. But especially in this format. But you know, deck wise, it's fun to play out the fantasy. You know. Looks like we got the classic here, the Blackwing mirror match. You love to see it, or you hate to see it, depending on what you're doing. And Jado does bring up a good point. I guess if you don't use most of your extra deck, it's free. So, actually, Blazon56 also brings up a good point. He says, strong disagree. Zane goes full BDSM, which is straight where Yami Yugi started. So, that's fair. He is going full BDSM, but he's going BDSM without a safe word. You know what I mean? Like, he's going, like, dangerous BDSM. And I'm not sure necessarily, like, most BDSM practitioners would want you to be doing that, you know? But it is definitely kinky, you know? So, this is indeed an all-ages stream. So, hopefully that's not too risque for all the kids out there. But we get Icarus Attack coming down here, so you can indeed target the Dark Arm Dragon and the Black Whirlwind. That will work. I think, can you target? No, you can't target Icarus Attack itself, I believe. But you can indeed do that. And then the Bora will come down and close out that game there. And that'll be it. So, very, very good games here. Dump Truck winning that one. And moving on to the next round to face off against Wagamuffin. So that'll be another Blackwing mirror match. So we got the Blackwing side of the bracket, and then we got the non-Blackwing side of the bracket. Looks like Shabam is probably winning here this turn. So it seems like they are on Twilight Sworn, not just Lightsworn. And yeah, this will be a lot of damage coming in. Gores could potentially help. But yeah, Gores will be dropped here. Honestly, I think you drop Gores when the Honest pokes in, because they can clear this board anyways, return Honest to hand, and then like, sure, they lose the Sork here, But, like, if the Sork is attacked in already, it's kind of gotten the value that they want out of it at this point in the game. Yeah, because now Honest returns to hand. You can blow up the board if you want to. You don't actually have to, though. But Elizabeth says, the format or the deck of the format better than thought? I was referring to the format because the deck of the format, unfortunately, does not really see much representation. I will be doing a video on the deck of the format, probably either this upcoming weekend or the start of next week. That's the plan anyways, because I'm going to be doing just back-to-back Teledad videos, both tomorrow and then later on this week. But yeah, so I'm mainly referring to the format because it seemed like last locals, people really did enjoy the format quite a bit, and I had fun with it too. I had fun watching it, and so I don't know. I'm curious to see what will come about with the sort of more exploration of it. Yeah. Unfortunately, not too many zombies here in the grave to really get things going. If there was just one more zombie, then you could do some synchro plays and potentially make something happen, but unfortunately, not quite there. So, yeah, you contribute for Caius. Caius is pretty good. So, this is a very, very good start. And then poke in for 24. So, hits your wide one in a good spot now after taking a fair amount of damage. But if Shabam can crack back, then that's going to be a bit worrying for them here. Yeah, this is a bit tricky. There is a Necrogarda in History of Wide One's Grave as well, so that will also help them against what Shabam's got going on here. Shabam does have a Necrogarda of their own as well, so a bit interesting. They say they probably lose. I think there is a world in which they don't, because it's getting out of deck out, right? I don't think they lose here. I don't think they lose. If you pass the turn here, Shabam has one turn to win, right? So I don't think they lose here. Unless they can get through a Necrogarda in one turn. If they can get through a Necrogarda in one turn, then yes, History Wide One loses. But if they can't get through that Necrogarda, then they can't. Oh, I can't wait to get to Lynx as well. Yeah, that'll just be the end of the game there. Shabam cannot eat through a Necrogarda. And so that'll just be the end of the game, right? Like, yeah. Lumina doesn't matter there necessarily because you can't beat through... Oh, I guess you can, actually. So, yeah, if you have the Lumina, then you can beat through the one Necrogarda. So, damn, that was an intense one. Tacos or Pad Thai? Ooh, that's a tough one. I like both. I like both a lot. The thing is that when I go get Mexican, I generally eat burritos instead of tacos. So, because of that, I might have to go with Pad Thai. Then again, when I go eat Thai, I eat like drunken noodle. So like, or the curry or something like that. So, it's tough. They're both so good. That's the thing. Like, I can't necessarily decide that easily. Titanium coming out here, and card save return will draw Rose a card. Bit of a tough spot to be in with the... Well, actually, never mind. Five-Headed Dragon taking control of there. And that should be able to attack over Cecilia or the Aaron. I assume PJ is not playing Honest in this deck. Bone Temple Block, also very funny here. Just all the floodgates. And yeah, this should indeed be the end of the game. So intense stuff there. That's pretty crazy. Like, I don't know. That's wild. But yeah. Yeah, I love Tiger and Pad Thai. So it's tough to say. Damn, PJ saying they threw that. I mean, it's tough. BrainCon's a very powerful card. So it's tough to say one way or another. But yeah, so it looks like that game is wrapped up as well. I think Anti-Kevin needs to report, so I might just report for them there. So let me put that in, and that'll be this and this. Yeah, chat, what do you think? Pad Thai or tacos? Which ones are y'all going for? For me, it probably does come down to Pad Thai, though. I love noodle dishes. And so when a dish has noodles in it, I'm just like, I can't resist. So, but they're both so good. So, it's not a knock against tacos. It's just Pad Thai is like, do we have there it is. History of Wide One versus Shabam. I want to dive back into this one because Black Moon mirror matches can be fun, but I feel like if you've seen one, you've seen a lot of them. It might be good actually just to show it off a bit more. But this game is like very interesting. So I'm like curious how it goes. Regu getting flipped up here, and his Rear one can also benefit from the mill effect. So they're going to target that one and hit a Heavy Storm. Pretty good one to hit there. Milling 3. 1, 2, 3. There they go. And not milling any like super good ones for them, but like it is still pretty good there. Yeah, I'm actually going to dive into the Blackwing Mirror. And again, you know, this is already on game 2. So yeah, I should dive into this one before it ends. The reason I want to dive into this is because Triple Gale really does change how the format works. And a lot of people would say it makes it worse. Some people might say it makes it better, but it just makes it so that like your Black Whirlwinds can always search out a Gale, which can always extend further, which can always just be crazy, right? And like, I mean, Blackwings are just nuts, especially in the mirror, when you can just like, each player is just searching out Gales constantly and just pragmatic against what the other player has. And they can search out Sirocco's potential. Well, actually, you can't really search out Sirocco, but if you've got Sirocco, you can bring that out, buff it up, you know, and it's just things are so fast paced. So Blizzard getting summoned out, but TT will indeed be used there. I feel like, honestly, I would TT like later when a Synchro is summoned. Because now they can just go into like Goyo here if they do have a Gale. But if this prevents a search, but like what are they searching here? You can't do Vayu because that comes out in Ancient Prophecy, which is not released yet. So yeah, I think that might have been a bit of a misplay from Wagamuffin there. But luckily for them, it did not end up mattering there. Upstart there. Getting even more consistency to draw into your Gales and things like that. Yeah, Kalut just switching to attack, attacking in. 1,400 beats. I mean, if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. And that will indeed poke there. Setting one passing back. I guess, let me see the dark count. I guess they didn't want to get 3 darks engraved potentially for a dad. So actually, that's probably why they did it there. So that makes sense. Yeah, dad just does change the math on a lot of plays that you'd make. Banishing a Gale is very interesting because I feel like Gale is incredibly good here. Just being able to like develop your board very quickly. But Dunkirk just banishing them. Just saying, no, I don't need it. MST hitting an MST there. So, you know, getting rid of that. We do not have to submit replays for a locals tournament, Rose. But thank you for asking. Because for multi-day events, you do. But for the locals, since they're much smaller, you don't have to submit a replay. So no worries about that. Yeah, you can just dive into the next game. Okay, so Dunkirk poking in for 14. Or actually, I guess the next game, once that next game starts, because your other game is still going on. I think the one to determine who faces you. But yeah, Kalut beats. I mean, it's working. Heavy Storm coming down, blowing up those 3 back row potentially. Will Wagamuffin let that stand, or do they've got like a Solemn? Nope, looks like it will be fine. So everything will go here. Losing a book, they lost the Delta Crow anti-reverse. No, that's such a cool card. It's just like Harpy's Feather Duster. But yeah, it's just very funny. Oh, and now Dunkirk reestablishes. So they've got the Shura, they've got the Whirlwind. So now they can search out that last Gale if they want to. They can also search out Bora. This is more damage. So this, they've got Gale and Bora. So yep, that will do it. Unless there is a Gores in Wagamuffin's hand, which there might be. Nope, looks like there is not. That's going to go on to the game 3 there. So again, that hopefully shows like how explosive it can be. Light Imprinting Mirror is going to be a bit annoying for Shabam. Now we have seen some Trap Eaters in their deck in that last game 2 there in their graveyard. So Trap Eater could potentially come out here and eat away that Light Imprising Mirror. But we'll have to see if they have it. Goblins or Necrogardnet is in grave as well. Mizuki can bring back Goblin Zombie, which is just kind of nasty. So what is Shabam gonna do? MST on the Light Imprinting Mirror. Okay, so it seems like they don't have the Trap Eater. They're going to try and pop that set. It looks like it's going to be a TT there. And I feel like you do this if you've got like a push that you want to make, right? All they're just trying to, just clear away the back row. DB's been having some issues lately, Blazon, so it might be a DB issue. It might just be, uh, it might be the site stats. I don't know. They've just been having more issues than normal lately. So, it should hopefully be resolved soon. I hope, but, yeah, it's just been having a rough time of it. So just keep trying, and hopefully we'll get you back in. I was trying to get some games earlier today, and it was having some issues. So, but I kept like trying to reload it, and it luckily eventually worked. So I was able to get some games. But yeah, it definitely was a bit tricky. Hopefully they resolve that soon. Yeah, because DB is a very, very good site for us. So yeah, big shout out to the people at DB and the work that they do to enable us to actually, play events like this and get content like this. Shabam's doing a big thing here. Now, Beckoning Light, okay, that's why they're thinking. That's a very, very good thing to make indeed. So they do lose a Sork, which honestly, losing the Sork is rough. I would have maybe kept the Sork because you Sork the Mizuki, prevent them from being able to do something there. And then you still get 2 cards back, right? Like, do you need all 3? Maybe they do need all 3, but like, I really don't like that play. I feel like you go for Sork on the Mizuki. I mean, even if they get Burial, like, you want to get that Mizuki not in Grave, right? And we know they don't have Crow. You could still do this play by dropping Sork first, right? Because Necro's down there. You do have some lights in Grave already. You're putting another Necro in Grave. So it's just, I don't know. I'm not the hugest fan of this. Not the biggest fan, but maybe they're trying to draw into a Crow. That might be something they're trying to do. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. No worries, PJ. It does happen. Throws are part of the game, the only thing you can do is sort of just, keep on going and just try and get better next time. But sometimes it won't happen. It's just all about, taking it in stride. And that can be very hard to do, especially right after doing it. But yeah, it's just very tricky. DD Crow coming down here and trying to hit. What are they trying to hit? Probably a Necro, right? Maybe a JD. You're trying to hit JD so they can't get it back with a Beckoning. You don't necessarily want to do it on a Necro because Necro can just chain to the DD Crow. So like, yeah, you don't want to hit a Necro, but like, did Shabam not chain that? Okay, they did use the effect. Okay, good. Yeah, because like you can do that. So generally it's why you don't want to DD Crow Necros that often. But I guess if History of YG1 is not attacking in this turn, it makes sense. I don't think they can do this because they switched it to defense last turn. So I don't think you can put it in attack. Yeah, okay. They caught that. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely frustrating, PJ. Like, this was something that happened in my last Telebad tournament game, right? Where like I had the ability to win that one. Like there was a line I could have done that would have been much better to actually win the game at that position. But unfortunately, I did not see it, and I had the pieces right there. I should have just thought about it more and done it. But unfortunately, I didn't do it, and it was rough. But best thing you can do is just remember it and try and get better in the future. And yeah, that's all you can do. Unfortunately, it's not necessarily the best thing to hear, but yeah, it's gonna be 3, and then potentially more. Yeah, 2 for each of those. So yeah, I think Shabam, honestly, I think they really messed up with the Beckoning Light play. I think it wasn't really ideal. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Also, it's your one could have cores, but I feel like you just go Sork, banish the Mizuki, and then like you're in a really good spot. Like zombies, like you just remove their key combo pieces, right? and it's just kind of rough. So I think they did mess up. I get why they did what they did, but yeah, they also have a Gores here, so Chaos Orc plays a bit more into Gores, or plays better into Gores than otherwise, but yeah, it's just going to be the end of the game. So yeah, so Shabam lost that one. I do think there were potential things they could have done to make that a bit better on themselves. Just going for the Sork and then doing the Necro or the Beckoning Light play would have been better probably. But I don't think they saw it. So it happens sometimes though. Yeah, you live and learn, as Prada says. And yeah. And also you can't necessarily anticipate all the plays or all the one-ofs, and that's all something that you gotta sort of handle. But yeah, that'll be the end of the game here, because that's gonna be 3, and then that mills 4. So yep, it is over. That's gonna be the end of the game. And yeah, Shabam admitted defeat there. But again, you know, like, you can't necessarily anticipate everything that's going to happen there, and that's how it goes sometimes. So, Dumbdruck seems to be in a pretty good spot here, but Wagmountain does have Armor Master up, so Armor Master can't be destroyed by battle, so the Classifier can't really do too much here. It's kind of awkward. I guess the Classifier must have a wedge counter on it, or unless maybe they want to put a wedge counter on it. But it's kind of weird because, like, it's just kind of awkward because, like, you can attack over it now, but they don't come back without the wedge counter. So, like, it's a bit tricky, but I guess you're getting in for like 2,500 damage each turn if you do that. So, like, I guess it's not terrible. Yeah, just like, this is kind of just a standoff, right? They're going to tribute that. Tribute set it. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, they got Dad. Okay, that explains it. Dad banishing the Colossal, playing around the Reborn potential play from Wagamuffin. Although, honestly, you probably don't care if they Reborn it, because if you can get over it again, then you can actually special summon it out, but it might be a bit tough to do that, so that's a bit of a thing to think about there. Dad attacking in for 28, and Wagamuffin needs a way to get out of this. They are at over 3 Darks Engraved, so they can't crack back with a Dad of their own unless they've got some more ways to manipulate the graveyard, like Reborn plus probably Blizzard. Like, Reborn plus Blizzard would potentially do it to get 3, but you need a very specific hand for that. You need Reborn Blizzard Dad, which is, like, not likely for Wagamuffin to have here. So, I mean, I will say also you can just make a... Well, you can't make another Armor Master because that doesn't get over the Dad. But if you could make a 7, you can make Black Rose blow up the board. That's something. You're still very vulnerable because you're at 2050, but, like, sometimes you do what you have to do. Yeah. The set is probably Sirocco, right? But then if it was Sirocco, why wouldn't they summon out an attack? Maybe they're worried about... I guess you're worried about, like, TT, right? But, yeah, Blizzard is coming down here. So Blizzard going into... What is it going into? Probably just the Shura, so you can crash with the Dad. Like, make a Goyo and do that. It's not ideal, but, like, kind of what you got to do. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I agree with you, PJ. PJ says full power Blackwings are probably the best deck in the format, and I think you're right. I think full power Blackwings are nuts. They can just do so much. They are the deck that can probably, outside of maybe zombies, they can manipulate their graveyard the most for Dad. They just have so much consistency in Black Whirlwind and Searching. They've got so much extension in the form of Gale, Bora, etc. They've got ways to just get over whatever you've got. Like, Kalut is a hand trap, like Lightsworn have. Like, it just, they can do so much. And that's what makes them so strong here. And so I do think they are the best deck in the format, probably by a fair bit. They're going to bring back the Gale. So this, to me, said they've got a Bora in hand. Or they're trying to have the Dad, I guess. That works too. You can't get over the Dad now unless you get Kalut. But if you get Kalut, like, if you do have Kalut, why not just go for Armed Wing, Kalut over it? I guess you're playing around, like, the Sirocco being set, right? But like, yeah. So if Sirocco flips up now, it gains 2,600 attacks. You're still losing to Sirocco flip up attack in, right? So yeah, I don't know. Get the sets Icarus probably. King Vegeta asks, is full power Blackwing better than full power Lightsworn? I think it's more consistent, which then makes it better, in my opinion. That'd be my guess. I mean, people can probably go back and forth on this, right? And since Lightsworn is such a high variance deck, like there are probably different arguments to be had there, but I do think it is probably the best deck. It's just so consistent, like triple Whirlwind, triple Gale, triple everything, right? And it's got 2 dads to play around with as well. So it's just like, it's crazy. It's very, very good. And yeah, it is nuts. So Dunbrook will indeed win that one, going on to face the winner of Blah and Rose here. So let's dive into that one now. Okay, it looks like Rose has set up that Titanial right away, so that's pretty good for them. Titanial is annoying to beat. As a note, though, with the Titanial up with only itself to tribute, it's kind of awkward because, you know, if they do target, then, you know, you've got to tribute there. But Granmole is going to be a bit annoying for that Titanial there. Granmole does not target. It just bounces to hand, and now it's back in hand, so you can't really do much with it. Now, there are some ways that you can sort of get it engraved for the Miracle Fertilizer and things like that, but that Granmole is just going to keep threatening it, right? So Granmole just definitely an annoying card. Jane coming down, though. Jane is pretty good here, attacking in for 18, potentially, and then milling 2 in the end phase, so that's pretty good. End phase mill 2, and they're going to mill 2 Amaryllis. Oh, my word. And yeah, they're going to go for 1 Amaryllis there, and then not bring out the other, leaving a Lone Fire engraved for future plays. I think that does make some sense. Rhoda coming down here, getting a search off. What are they going to search? Probably Armageddon Knight or Greffer. One of those two, I assume. Looks like they're going to search out that Armageddon Knight there. Yep. So Armageddon Knight, send a Dark, maybe a Plague, for instance. Go into potentially Goyo. Although Goyo doesn't really get too much here. So, I don't know, this is interesting. I wonder if History YG1 plays Book of Life in their deck. That's an interesting thing as well. Because if Book of Life is in the deck, then you can banish the Amaryllises. So that's very good for History YG1 in this matchup, potentially. But yeah, Armageddon Knight here. Sending probably Plague. Yep, there's the Plague. There's the Plague. But yeah, Plague getting sent to grave, using Plague effect, stacking. Does Rose have a DD Crow? Probably not. Playing a Lightsworn deck, you probably don't main it. But yeah, Plague will come back. And they're going to go for a Synchro Summon here, probably for Goyo. It's basically the only 6 you can make with those materials there. And yeah, Goyo can attack over. I mean, whether you want to risk attacking into the Jane with an Honest in hand potentially, that is a risk that you might not be willing to take, but you can attack over the Amaryllis, just get in grave, take the 800, but just get it off field. So that's something. Looks like they will indeed do that. So that'll deal 800 to History of YG1. The Amaryllis cannot be special summoned by the Goyo. So, yeah. But you still get over it. So that is nice. And you play around the Honest a bit. So main 2. What is History of YG1 going to do? Pass. Okay. 1 back row to work through. Will Rose be able to do it? DDR coming down, pitching the Titanial. That's very, very good play here for them. MST on that, but now you know that that back row is nothing. So this is still a pretty good situation for Rose to be in here. Burial here. What do you send? Sending a Plague. Okay, doing a Plague Spreader play of their own here. Oh, card of safe return. That's pretty good. It basically nullifies the cost of Plague because you draw back the card that you're getting there. So that's pretty decent. Yeah, they're not even stacking. They're just, you know, going for it because they don't need to stack. Braincon. Oh, my word. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's going to be pretty good there. And it looks like they're going to attack in this way first, not going for the 8 first. Just to see if they've got Gores, I assume. But Yeah, I feel like you probably summon out the Plague and attack if you're doing that, but yeah, it's fine. They're going to go for an 8 here. Which 8 will they go for? Stardust is a good one, especially if they don't necessarily have Gores. Colossal, that can also come down. Now, the issue here for History Wide one is if they go for a Grand Mole, Grand Mole bounces something back, but I mean, the Amaryllis is going to kill them here if they don't bounce that back. And yeah, they're going to go for double Amaryllis here, so it's even worse for them. So it's very, very tough for History of Elijah 1 to actually get out of this. And they do draw 2 off the card save return. So yeah, Rose cooked here. Rose cooked with this deck here. Heavy Storm coming down, just trying to clear that. Hitting a Crush card, which doesn't really do anything here. But yeah, Stardust plus Earth Colossal plus card save return is amazing, as King Vegeta says. And it was amazing for Rose there. So that's going to be game 1 going to them. And yeah, we'll have to see how game 2 and 3 go here. Now, the thing with things like Amaryllis and Zombies is that there are side deck cards you can bring in for that. Like both players might be bringing DD Crows because DD Crow is pretty good against Amaryllis. You banish the Amaryllis and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And it doesn't even fuel their DDR because DDR can't bring back Amaryllis because it can't special summon it except with its own effect. And DD Crow against Zombies, very, very good because, you can just banish the Mizuki targets and things like that. So, yeah. King Vegeta says, all these decks feel like Edison, but more enjoyable because they're stronger and more consistent. Yeah, and I think that's a nice thing about these formats is that a lot of them feel like different flavors of each other. So this definitely does feel like a different flavor of Edison in a way. Some people don't like the sort of higher power level of these decks, and that's perfectly fine. And some people do like it, and that's also perfectly fine. It's just nice having these more options available for people. So if you do like the more high-powered, high-octane version of a format, you can play it here. I will say, I do think that Amaryllis is a little bit nerfed because it doesn't have Hidden Armory, and Hidden Armory is very, very good. But yeah, still cool to see Rose doing well with the spice, as PJ says, because Rose did bring the spice here. And I'm curious to see if more people will try and pick up this deck before the CAT tournament, the multi-day one. It's going to be starting this upcoming weekend. And I'll announce when exactly that's starting at the end of the stream. So stick around till then if you want to see. Death Shoot in the opener for History Wider 1. I mean, Death Shoot's Death Shoot, right? Lone Fire is at 3. I believe that is correct. Yes. I think they left 1 Lone Fire in deck just for, just to, like, have it there potentially. Or they could have had it in hand, I guess. But let me just double check this. So, CAT format. And the ban list says Lone Fire is indeed at 3 copies. So you can play 3 of it. So full power, effectively, right? Like, again, you don't have him in army, so that hurts the Gigaplan or Amaryllis decks a bit, but you do have Call of Save Return, so that's a pretty good trade-off, I will say. Okay, it looks like they handed Miracle Fertilizer, Mark of the Rose, Trade In, Card of Safe Return, and Lone Fire Blossom. Yeah, so Lone Fire can go into something else here. They're going to try and go for it. Will that work? Potentially. Yeah, it probably is. Well, I think it depends. Okay, and that will get banished there. So, quite unfortunate for the Titanial. Bottomless does not target, so you can't use its effect to respond to a Bottomless. But yeah, I mean, you still have Miracle Fertilizer to bring that back and get a draw off card safe return because Doomcal only negates monster effects, so it will be able to negate the Lone Fire. But you still get a draw, and that's probably worth it, right? You also do have Mark of the Rose if you want to go for that route. But I don't know exactly what the best play is here. But I'm sure Rose will figure it out. I mean, they've got 2 Lone Fires, so potentially you go for Mark of the Rose for the Doomcal and just take it. But you're probably going to go for, going for the card safe return play first. But King Vegeta asks, is Rescue Cat still really good in this format? Or is it like Quick Draw where it was historically good, but Power Crept looking back? Right now, the consensus seems to be it's like Quick Draw, where it was good historically, but now, is it really that good? People don't really seem to think so. Because things like Full Power Blackwings just are more aggressive than it, and they can combo as hard as it does, but just less well, right? Those are not the best Charge of the Light Brigade mills. I don't necessarily want to see another charge, a DDR, and a Lightning Vortex get milled there, but at least you're getting fodder for next turn to summon out here. Mark of the Rose is going to banish a Lone Fire, take control of that Doomcal, and then I guess get in for 24 here. Playing around Gores a bit as well. Yeah, looks like they are going to get in for 24, trying to play around the Gores a bit if there is a Gores in History Wider 1's hand. And yeah, it's going to be pretty good for Rose here. Now you can potentially just pop the Doomcal at the end of the turn with the Amaryllises, so that might be what you're doing. And it looks like that is indeed what is probably going to happen here. Oh, no, you can't because there's no plants in there. That's a bit interesting then. I feel like it might have been worth actually trying to go for Lonefire, popping the Doomcal and main 2, and then being able to banish for the Amaryllis here, getting another draw. So I think that might have been worth it, but it's hard to say. They can just attack over the Miracle Fertilizer here, but to be fair, you just keep getting back the Doomcal every turn with Mark of the Rose, so you might just think that's a bit more worth it, right? So I don't know. It's an interesting spot to be in here. Yeah, as PJ said, light form moment, milling the wrong cards. I mean, that's how it always goes for me, at least. Gale coming down, and Gale just attacking over the Lonefire, and then Doomcal attacking in directly, probably, I assume. Yeah, it's going to be 8 and 19. Yep, there's the 8, and then there's the 19. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that the YCS Sydney Amaryllis deck didn't play Hidden Armory. That's interesting. Yeah, so maybe, I guess we do have kind of full power Amaryllis here. I just got so used to the deck playing Hidden Armory that I just assumed it was really good, but I guess maybe not. Anyways, you probably go into a Synchro 7 here, I assume, right? Just to get the Mark of the Rose away. But what do you go into? Yep, Synchro 7. For maybe Black Rose, maybe, I think Armor Master needs another Blackwing. It's a Blackwing tuner and I think maybe a Blackwing non-tuner. I could be wrong about that, but if it is, okay, it is just one or more non-tuner. So yeah, Armor Master probably the pick, just because it's very annoying for Rose to out. And yeah, I think it might have been worth it instead for Rose just to use Lonefire to blow up the Doomcal the previous turn and then end on an Amaryllis there with an extra draw as well. But you can still bring back the Amaryllis this turn and you still get that draw at the end of the turn. Just you have one less card to work with now. So, yeah, we'll see what they do here. DDR Engrave, but you have more than one copy of DDR probably in your deck. So, oh, Sire Valley. Yep, it is indeed in cat format. So you can indeed use that. Braincon. Oh, Braincon again rears its ugly head here. Taking control of that Armor Master. That's going to be kind of nasty here. Jane also coming down. So attacking in directly for 1800 here. That will indeed go through. Do you attack in with the Armor Master? Yep, playing into Gores, but I think it is worth it getting them down to 1300 on Amaryllis, right? Because now you get the Amaryllis back. And this could potentially be a bit nasty for History of Wydra 1 here. No more Amaryllis milled, but like still, they're 1300. Amaryllis is going to deal 8. So like it's not ideal here for History of Wydra 1. Bit of a tricky spot to be in for sure. I'm definitely going to try out this Amaryllis deck in cat format. I think it's really neat. I think it's very, very cool. Rose brought it. And yeah, just very, very cool. So I might try and adapt the YCS Sydney list actually for it because that list did not play Hidden Armory and it won an Edison event. So it maybe will do well here. But of course, adding card save returns, right? But yeah, card save return plus Amaryllis, just a ton of value all the time. So yeah, they're gambling into the Honest probably, but it doesn't really help here. I guess if this card you control, it's destroyed instead of the graveyard. So yeah, so this won't kill his Wydra 1 here by attacking him with Amaryllis. Yeah, so you're just gambling into Honest, but you kind of have to. So now they don't die. It's if this card you control is destroyed. Yeah, yeah, Rose knows the ruling. Yeah. So yeah, they can attack him with Amaryllis here, and it will blow itself up, but his Wydra 1 will not take the damage. Yeah. Exactly. Only deals the damage when sent from the owner's field to the owner's grave. So yeah, Amaryllis attacking in here to the Jane. If there's an Honest in hand, it's just going to kill them here. But yeah, it looks like that will indeed be the end of the game. So yeah, pretty good there for Rose. I do think, again, like, it might have been better to go for blowing up the Doomcal with the Lone Fire and then bring back the Amaryllis. I think that might have been the better move. But I mean, I don't know. It's a bit tricky. I didn't know what was in their hand exactly. So, yeah. Process should have been sooner. Should have been sooner for Synchro Cats. Should have been sooner for Amaryllis. Like, should have been sooner for what? I'm curious. But yeah, so no Honest in hand there. So, yeah, his Rewired one did win that one. But yeah, I mean, it was a tricky sort of thing here, I guess. Like, in terms of like what you do. BrainCon should have been sooner. Okay. Well, the only thing you BrainCon would be the Doomcal, which was like, I mean, maybe you BrainCon the Doomcal, but like, I feel like Mark of the Rose and the Doomcal is probably better. But I don't know. It depends on like, I guess if you want more plant fodder in grave. Actually, I can see the BrainCon argument, right? Because you BrainCon first, and then you've got another plant in grave for banned sooner. Okay, I get you. Yeah. They also might not have had BrainCon in their hand already, so I don't quite know if they had that. But yeah, I feel like with Amaryllis, like in this format, you kind of want to just abuse card save return as much as possible, just to get as many draws as possible, so you have the most options to kill your opponent, right? So I would have gone for the play that did a little bit more drawing. Because you're losing the Lone Fire next turn either way. So it's just a matter of whether you lose the Doomkill or not, right? And I feel like you probably just go for the draws. And because you're just drawing into other things to deal with what your opponent's getting. So you don't need the Doomkill around anymore. So that'd be my sort of thing with it. Because also if they go into Goyo, right, off of Doomcal, then they potentially take the Lone Fire. And while they can't really use the effect, it is one less plant in your grave. So you've got to get over that again. And like it's just a bit of a mess there if that happens. So, and yes, if you like BrainCon the Goyo, right, you get to take back the Lone Fire and then use the Lone Fire effect to bring out another plant, which is not terrible, but like it doesn't necessarily solve the issue either. So, unless you're playing Nettles in the deck, which they might be. I don't know if they're playing Nettles or not, but yeah. Okay, Rose drawn here. Lone Fire right off the bat, very, very good start. Going into probably Titanial, but do they go into some other Lone Fires in between? It looks like they are going to do that. So going into, second Lone Fire into the Titanial there, going for charge now. And milling the third Lone Fire, but also a Necro. So Necro is not bad there. But yeah, getting the search. Which one are you searching? Searching out the Lila to deal with the opponent's back row if they set up back row. And passing back to History Rewinder 1 now. The issue here is that, you know, if History Rewinder 1 wants to target the Titanial, then it will have to tribute itself. But still, this is a very, very annoying board for History Rewinder to deal with. Unless they do have the Grand Mole, which they could have. They had Grand Mole game 1, so they might have kept it around. I don't know if they kept it in their deck or not. But Grand Mole is good against Titanial. And it's good against Amaryllis as well, because it bounces back the Amaryllis. So, yeah, looks like Armonite's coming down here, so going into probably Plague, right? And so you go into Plague, bring that back, go into Goyo potentially, and just Crash. That's something you can do. If you've got Book of Life, you can go send Plague, Book of Life it back, go into a 6, and then use Plague's effect to go into like Colossal Fighter and beat over the Titanial. So looks like they are going to go for Plague here, which makes sense. I feel like it's the best Dark you can send in this deck, honestly, outside of some very weird edge cases. But yeah, sending that Plague and thinking about exactly what to do with it. Probably thinking about what to stack exactly, maybe. Or thinking about like whether they want to just go all in on like the Goyo Crash into the Titanial. But it looks like they are going to do it. I mean, if this is the only play they've got, you know, they got to do it, right? So they do need stack for cost first. So technically you stack for cost first just in case there's a Crow. But it's probably fine. This is a locals. It's casual, you know. But in general, it's good practice just to stack first because it is cost. And it can end up mattering. But yeah, Goyo coming out here. Is your wide one thinking a bit? What are they going to do? They're checking Rose's graveyard here. Necro Gardener plus triple Lone Fire there. So Rose can stop this with the Necro if they want, but it looks like they're not going to. They're just going to let that go through. So the Goyo will die. And let's see what History Wide 1 is going to do in main phase 2. Just set 1. Are they going to set another? They know about Lila. So they know that Lila could potentially come down here and make their day a bit worse. But it looks like they're just going to set that 1 pass. So they're maybe baiting out the Lila here. That is an option. They know what they're drawing next turn because of the Plague. So that's something to consider. Lila is going to come down here. And let's see. They're going to use the effect now to try and pop that back row. Looks like that will indeed pop an MST. So good that they went for that instead of something like Miracle Fertilizer if they had it. But yeah, Lila going to mill some lights and a DDR. Probably don't want to mill that DDR because DDR is very good. DD Crow here probably coming down and banishing the Necro Gardener right now. Just to sort of prevent it from blocking an attack next turn. I assume they're banishing the Necro Gardener. They could banish the Titanial if they want to, but I think that's a little bit too risky. So yeah, there goes the Necro. Necro coming down from History Rewind 1 as well here, beating over the Lila, just cutting off the mill. So I think that makes sense. And now a Botanical Lion coming down. I mean, look, I love this card. This card is so cool. It's not like the best thing ever, right? But it's just fun. It's a neat card. It's got a lot of attack, and it's cool. Prada says, Goyo had some interesting bad rulings at YCS during this time. If it crashed into something, they ruled it to be able to bring back the monster. Okay, interesting. I wonder if that's how it was ruled at this event as well. I don't know if it was ruled that way at this YCS, but if that is the case, then that is a nasty ruling. Like, that is just abysmal. But yeah, they're going to pop the Botanical Line there with the Dark Arm Dragon, and Dark Arm Dragon is a bit of a scary threat here. So yeah, it will indeed be annoying for Rose to deal with. I mean, they might have ways to deal with it. Like, bring back the Titanium crashing. That's one way to do it. Obviously not ideal, but it is something that you can do. Mark the Rose. Okay, that is a pretty good one. Yep, getting out that dad. So the dad can then... Oh, DDR on top of it. Okay, going for the Lone Fire Banish instead of the Titanium. I guess getting a Titanium out of the deck here. I think that makes sense. But yeah, and also pitching a trade in, just not drawing those. And yeah, now we've got 5,600 damage coming in here. We've got Dad, which, is this online? Dad is not online to actually blow itself up right now. But, you know, if it tries to pop the Titanial, then, oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that will do it. 13 plus 28 plus 28. This is lethal. There's no Gores. Yeah, if there is a Gores, then that does save History Wide 1 here. But if there's no Gores, then I guess Necro also helps. So yeah, Necro will stop that. And then, yeah, you probably go in for Dark Arms either way here. You can Gale have something, you know. Probably Gale have Gore's token. But with this, you probably Gale have Dark Armed. Oh, no, it's just opponent control. So yeah, you can't do that. But yeah, if the Dark Arm tries to pop, the Titanium attributes itself and stops that. So yeah, it's kind of an awkward spot for History of Wide 1 here. And we don't know what the card in hand is as well. We know it's not Gores, but the dad is going to attack over the Gale here, so that will indeed go through. And then presumably it's going to try and pop the... Well, so it's awkward because it tries to pop the Titanial. Then Rose probably just lets that go through. And, oh, I would have waited for the target here. I would have waited for the target. Because if it tries to pop Titanial, you might just let that go through because you're getting control of that Dark Armed with a pop online next turn. MST is gone. You don't need to worry about that. Heavy's gone as well, so you don't need to worry about that. So you're getting back like a very powerful card, right? But I don't know. Maybe they've got Miracle Fertilizer in hand or something. But yeah, Charge is going to be pretty good here as well. Milling 3. Searching out just something to beat over that Armageddon Knight. Aaron does do it. And also mills 3 in the end phase. So they could potentially Necro Gardener this. And it looks like they will indeed do that. Probably setting up for a Synchro play this coming turn. But you get to mill 3 here off the Aaron. And finally, the Amaryllis is milled. So Amaryllis will be able to banish a plant, bring itself back, and potentially deal some 800. Now, if History of YG1 has the Braincon of their own, they can Braincon the Aaron and shovel back that Amaryllis into the deck. Caius also will deal with the Amaryllis. So, yeah, Caius will clear that very nicely. And then the Aaron will lose to the Kai's if there's no Honest in hand, which there might be an Honest in hand. You know, we've gone through a lot of the deck. No Honest showing up so far. Will that be an Honest in hand? Nope, it will not. So 800 damage there. 1 macro set, passing back. How many Miracle Fertilizer left? There is probably 2. I don't know if they play all 3, but yeah. Looking pretty good for History Wydra 1 here. So Kai's attacking into a Necro. So Necro will indeed be nice to sort of protect Rose a little bit more here. And there are no Necros in History Wydra 1's graveyard. The Foolish is coming down to send an Amaryllis. So Amaryllis will be able to come back in the end phase here, just deal 800. But Bottomless will be used there. And note that it has to be sent to the graveyard as well to actually deal with the 800. So Bottomless will indeed come in clutch. Okay, Goblin Zombie flipping up here as well. Goblin Zombie's a bit of a risk, but, you know, you probably go for that anyways. And, yeah, if you have, like, yeah, okay, Kai's attacking in first. You Necro that for sure. And then, yeah, and then the Goblin Zombie, I do attack him, and it looks like they're not. I think that is smart because you don't necessarily want to mill here. But, yeah, Rose admits defeat, so it seems like they did not draw what they needed there. So, yeah, kind of rough. I think probably again, maybe just letting the Titanial go if they're targeting that, could be worth it. But, yeah, it's kind of tough to say there, but yeah. Oh, no Honest in the deck. Okay. So, yeah, just kind of there to like spook the opponent, I guess. Dandelion, is Dandelion legal? I don't know if Dandelion's legal. Oh, yeah, it's legal. It is legal in this format. It's not legal in Teledad. Yep. So, yeah, it is limited, though. So, you know, this thing is very, very powerful, but very, very good if you mill it. And, yeah. I don't know. Amaril's looking good. Amaril's looking good in this format. Even though Rose ultimately lost there, it was definitely a very, very close one. And so, yeah, I don't know. Definitely something to experiment with when I dive into the format itself. I do feel like, I don't know, with more experimentation, it might turn out that the format's Tier 0 Blackwing, but I don't quite know. People have been bringing a bunch of different decks to these events, and so it's tough to say. But I will say it's kind of unfortunate, or it depends on, you know, your perspective, but it's kind of unfortunate, in my opinion, that all the Blackwing games wound up in the same bracket, because it means they just eliminate each other. So it's kind of tough to then say, like, you know, oh, there are this many Blackwing decks that showed up and only one made it to finals or something, when it's like, well, yes, but they're all just eliminating themselves in the early rounds, right? So, yeah, preemptively limiting Dandelion because the card's just too good, you know? It's sort of something that I feel like could seem like insane to a casual Yu-Gi-Oh player at the time, but I could definitely see it. I mean, I think it is kind of necessary because the card's just so good. Yo, Papa Perez, who says, yo, locals. Yep, we're getting to the finals of this locals. It should be a lot of fun. And then after the finals, I'll announce when the multi-day event for Cat format is coming up, because it is going to be coming up very soon. So, yeah. But there will be time to, like, brew and stuff. If you just tuned in the stream and thought, hey, this format looks kind of fun, I want to try it out myself, then there will be time to brew before the tournament is held on the YGO from Zero Discord server, linked in the description down below. So it looks like History Wydra 1 is getting water right now. So they'll be back soon. But yeah, 3 Dandy and Lightsworn or the plant deck would just be absolutely nuts. You're never attacking in. You're never getting through. I mean, maybe Lightsworn you get through because, like, or if you're playing like Judgment Dragon or something, you can blow up the board, blow up the tokens. But yeah, it is 3 Dandy, just so much value. It gets so much value for you. But yeah, plants, I mean, you made it look fun, Rose. Like, I'm definitely going to try out that plant deck in this format when I get to it. So yeah, it seemed like a lot of fun. And yeah, those were good. So very, very close ones too. Like, if things had turned out a little bit differently, you could be the one in the finals here instead of History of Wydra 1. But you know, that's Yu-Gi-Oh for you, right? Like, that's how it goes. And Zombie's very, very cool as well. So both players on cool decks, and we'll have to see who will win the ultimate locals legend title here. Dump Truck or History of Wydra 1. Dump Truck on Blackwings, History of Wydra 1 on Zombies. Time to start a poll. So we'll see who will win. Who will win? Will it be Zombies or Blackwings? Let's see what people think. I realized that I misspelled win. I said who will wiln, but either way, the question remains the same. And I'm curious to see what people think. So upstart here, drawing an extra card. Whirlwind is a very good start. The thing about Doomcal into Blackwings is like you can just activate like a Bora from hand and that will like blow up the Doomcal. So like, yeah, you have to TD that because the Doomcal is dying anyways, and you don't want to lose 2k to the Sirocco. So I think that makes sense. And yeah, you don't want to let your opponent get the search there either. So good TT. Let's see what History Wide 1 does now. Wilning. That's what we're doing. We're Wilning. What format will be used for the next multi-day event? It will be cat format. So it'll be this format here. And yeah, I should be getting to cat format by the end of this week. I just had a busy week last week, busier than anticipated. If this week's busier than anticipated as well, that could be unfortunate. But Crush Card Virus in the standby phase here, just to prevent any more summons here to trigger the Whirlwinds. So yeah, this is about as good an opening as History Wide 1 could have asked for here. Yeah, the format after cat will be Lightsworn as well. So, yeah, I was mentioning in the stream coverage that like Hidden Armory not existing is kind of rough for the deck. But people were pointing out that like it does have some benefits. Like card safe return is nuts in the deck. Like that card's cracked. Like you were definitely showing off that very well in the games. And so, yeah, Blizzard, Solemn, etc. So it seems like History Wide 1 did not like what they saw there. Going into a 6, do you go into Goyo? Do you go into Armed Wing? I don't know. What will Dumpster choose? They'll choose the Goyo. So Goyo coming in here for 2,800 hot. Will History Wide 1 have the Gorge there? It looks like they will not. And they'll let that go through. So they're letting it go through. Not using the Necro yet. I think that makes sense. Yeah, Dumpster setting 2. So we know about Solemn being one of them. But your card safe return cracked. I mean, they're ready to get banned after this because that card is not okay. It's just so good in a lot of decks. So that's definitely something to experiment with more as well. Yeah, and the Amaryllis deck, I mean, you're getting that like every turn, right? You're drawing into plants that you can put in graveyard. You're drawing into just powerful things. And it kind of makes up for the Hidden Armory a little bit as well. If you waited until a normal summon Black Whirlwind, it wouldn't have resolved with Crush Card. I agree. I am generally in favor of just holding Crush Card until like it actually like makes a difference in the turn, right? I think if you activate it right away, your opponent still has a lot of options because unlike Dust Shoot, you don't have the choice of actually sending something back that you know is going to be the best thing for them. Crush Card is just an automatic criteria that goes into effect. You know, if your opponent still has meaningful plays they can do after that, well, too bad for you, right? And it's one of the reasons why I hate Crush Card less than I hate Dust Shoot. Like, I am the biggest Dust Shoot hater out there. And for Crush Card, I don't actually find it that bad. It is annoying when it happens to me, but generally you can break that it's coming. Generally, you still have ways to outplay it potentially. And so it's never felt all too terrible for me. Although I understand why it feels very, very bad for other people, right? So yeah, tagging into Reaper. So Reaper will indeed be good here. Making Dump Truck Witch for the Armed Wing instead of the Goyo. But BrainCon will deal with the Reaper. Just clearing that. So yeah, this is still very good for Dump Truck here. The side res coming down. I'm not sure if that'll be enough. Gale, actually, hold up. Gale makes it potentially enough. So you go Gale and, or actually, Dump Truck might Solemn this. I think you probably do Solemn this if you've got it. Yeah, Solemn. I think that makes sense because you don't want your Goyo to be halved. I mean, History of YG1 could have Reborn. That's something they could have to bring back the Gale there. But I feel like you do just Solemn it. Yeah. We don't know what, well, History Wide 1 knows what the other back row is. But another Black Whirlwind and a Bora coming down to boot. So that will get double trigger there off the Bora. Great timing for Dump Truck here. Did they show the remaining Crush Card things? Like, I don't know. I thought the Bora came from the middle of the hand. But they must have shuffled beforehand, right? I don't know. I assume one of them would have caught it, right? They've played enough with Crush Card to know the Crush Card happens. But yeah, this is GG. You get out 2 Gales, special summon Gale, and then have it twice. And then, like, it's just nuts. Yeah, Gale Kalute also works. Yeah, Gale comes down, have that. Go into maybe Armor Master if you want to as well. This is more damage total. But yeah, could be honest in hand. We don't know. But yeah. So probably attack over with Goyo, right? Yeah, so Goyo attacks in here over the Sidra, so that way you both get Gores with a lower count on the token, if it is, but okay, Necro is coming down to stop the Goyo, so that makes sense. So yeah, not quite GG, I guess, but this still is about as GG as you can get. Yeah, definitely do it, Rose. And if you're interested in the upcoming cat tournament, I'll be announcing when that will be at the end of the stream, and also be announced on the Discord as well. So yeah, it would be really cool to see that in the multi-day event as well, because I think it is a really, really cool list. And I mean, Card Safe Return, whenever I see a deck that can use it well, my eyes just light up, because I'm like, oh, I wanna draw a lot of cards with it. But yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing about like just going back to these retro formats and really having time to optimize, is that like even if it's just thrown together to play with a friend, like you can then return to it later and try and adjust it further, and like just keep that process going, Mizuki coming down as well now. So Mizuki is it's decent. You can bring back like Reaper. Yeah, and Minecon on the Gale, but that will get Icarus attacked, so you can pop the Mizuki and the Minecon, but now the Reaper can come back off that Mizuki, so this does buy you a little bit of time. Unfortunately, Bora can pierce through Reaper, so that's a bit rough, but, it is what it is, right? Amaryllis is a draw and mill deck in this format. You get the best of both worlds. Yeah, honestly, you do. And it's so much fun. I mean, Lightsworn can maybe play with Card Safe Return as well. You've got Wolves coming back. You've got Lumina pitching and, like, bring back something. So maybe it's something for them as well. Although I feel like Lightsworns want to draw less than Amaryllis does, which is kind of wild, but I think it is kind of true. But I don't know. It's potentially something for them as well. So it is very, very cool to see Card Safe Return actually see it in play and get in some use, right? But yeah, this board is going to go hard here. MST the back row. It's going to be Burial. So Burial does bring back the Mizuki and the Necro. So Necro can stop the Bora at least. But Kalut coming down to get some Gales. So Gale targets and pops the Reaper. And that should be GG, right? So, yep, that's going to be it. CS is probably more incentivized when you realize Gale, Kalut, Sirocco, Bora, and Shura, Black Realm were all common or rare, so they intended for this to happen. Yeah, probably. But it led to a very interesting sort of deck. So I like Blackwing to the deck. I know a fair amount of people don't like Blackwing to the deck, but I think they're very cool. And yeah, okay. It's provided one saying, wait. Did something happen here that's wrong? Okay, so yeah, this second Gale cannot come down. No, wait, you can. You can. Yeah, you can. Because it doesn't say if you control only Blackwing monsters other than Gale the Whirlwind. Just if you control Blackwing other than Gale the Whirlwind. So, yeah, you can bring it out because you still do control that. Yeah. It's only if you have only Gale on your field, you can't spell summon out another. But if you have Gale on another Blackwing, you can still spell summon it. So, yep. That shouldn't be the end of the... Oh, there's a Gores in hand. Hold up. Okay. This complicates things a little bit. Blackwing Go Burr, exactly as Rose said. I mean, it's definitely a deck that, especially in this format, where, the lines to do with it are not that hard to suss out. But I do think it is still a fun deck to play. But anyways, main 2, you can still have the Gores with one of the Gale tokens. So that's something. Probably do that, right? Unless they forget about it, but you can also go into Armor Master. That's fine too. Or, Dark Strike Fighter. I forgot about Dark Strike Fighter. It's the namesake, or not the namesake of the format, but it's one of the biggest cards in the format. I forgot about it there. But yep, that will indeed do it. Once you get your opponent down low enough, you can go into a 7. Just go into Dark Strike Fighter and kill. And that's it. That's all she wrote. So yeah, Blackwings did go Burr there. And yeah, History Wide 1 felt the chill. So we'll have to see what they do to side for it. Because I feel like, given Blackwings is such a known quantity, you generally do have ways to try and play around it. It's kind of tough because Blackwings, like, you can bring in, like, Shadow Imp, but they don't really care about that much. But you can still special summon things and go into synchro plays. So, like, Shadow Imprinting Mirror doesn't really do much. I don't know. I don't really know what's in this format that would, like, really help against Blackwings. I mean, I guess it's just, like, typical anti-Blackwing tech from Edison. But, like, yeah. Papa Red says Luckwings. I mean, honestly, in this format, it's more, like, if you don't draw Whirlwind and everything, then, like, you're honestly, like, unlucky, right? Because generally, the deck has so many copies of everything that you can get into things very easily. But plants better than Blackwings, says Rose. And that could be the case. I don't know. We'll have to see exactly how the format develops. I think plants are definitely something that weren't on people's radar for most of the exploration of this format. And then like Amaryllis did well in Edison, so now it's on people's radars. And now it's maybe something that we can look into and be like, is this something with likes here? Is it something that can do stuff? But yeah, Blackwing Unsideable, only that stupid light sphere monster, which is not legal in this format. Consecrated Light, not out yet. So yeah, that's a bit of a rip for the anti-Blackwing decks. But there are maybe some things you can do. Prohibition is maybe something, but like it's kind of tricky. Yeah, probably that's the biggest one. As Rose says, you can side your own Siroccos. So like that is something you can do. But even that's kind of like reactive, right? Your opponent needs to have Blackwings out to really make that work. And if they've got a ton of Blackwings out, they're probably killing you, right? So it's like a bit tricky there. As opposed to like Edison format where you generally have more time. But I don't know. We'll see what History of White 1 actually brings into this, because they probably have some plan for it. Yeah, if you main deck a couple Gales, then you got Blackwing combo as well. And we do know that History of White 1 does main deck Gales. So Gale can be something that we potentially see here. Clue coming down to search out a Gale, speaking of the devil. Searching out a Blizzard. Okay, not the Gale. Interesting. Going for Mind Crush here. Rose says, IDK and Edison, I typically side Vortex for wings and it works. I can see Vortex also being good. Just blowing up their big board. But it's just tricky because all the side deck things you bring in for it are more reactive than proactive. And reactive not in a way of like trap cards, but reactive in like the Blackwings have set up their board, done their thing, and then you react to it, right? And that's very rough in this format. What do we do here with the Mind Crush? What are the rulings for this at this point in the game's history? Mind Crush is such a weird card. It works different ways in different formats. I think you do reveal. Yeah, I think you do reveal. I think you do. I could be wrong about that. Oh, does not reveal? PJ, are you sure that applies to cat format? Because I thought in Teledad format, you do, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know. It's tricky. There's a locals at the end of the day, so it is a bit more casual. I apologize if the ruling does make a huge difference here. But yeah, SAR do not redeem. I don't know what SAR is, but I'm not sure why they're not redeeming. But hopefully, if you will redeem me for potentially messing up that ruling. Let's see. I've got a private chat. I think you do reveal, but I don't know. But yeah, Dad getting out of the picture is pretty nice for History of YJ1 there. But yeah, Clue tagging in. It's pretty good. So that's one on a crush card. So they would have seen the hand anyways, I guess. But like, again, apologies if it is not the way it works. I don't know why they Mind Crushed the Blizzard, honestly. That's kind of weird. Because when you'd better have a better Mind Crush target for Crush card, and you can't normal summon the Blizzard. So that seemed like a bit of a misplay from History of YJ1. I don't quite know if it was or not, but I don't know. I feel like they could have gotten a little bit more value there. Oh, interesting. So the ruling changed in August 2010. So, okay, apologies about that. It looks like I was wrong, so they would not see the whole hand. Luckily, it didn't matter in this game specifically because Crush card revealed the whole hand anyways, but yeah, okay. Apologies for that. Yeah, I made a mistake with that, but Gale coming down here. Gale can't really get a search because no value in the deck yet. But you can go into a 6 here, going into, I don't know, what do you go into? Goyo? Yeah, that seems right. Probably the best option here. Tagging him for 28. If they got Gores, they got Gores, right? But it looks like they do not have Gores. So they do have 2 Darks in Grave. If they get a third, then they're potentially in Dad territory if they've got that. They also can just go into a synchro play here themselves. So yeah, looking pretty good for History YJ1. So if you go into like Goyo here, that's pretty decent. If you can go into Doomcal Dragon, that is. It doesn't actually do anything, I guess. But yeah, just going for a Gale to have. And just setting. Okay. So yeah. I guess you do what you have to do, right? And losing the Sirocco there is pretty brutal for Dump Truck. But yeah, Crush Card is over. Goyo attacking in because it's kind of what you got to do. And then Goyo probably take, right? It deprives them of a third Dark Engrave. It also just gets you a powerful monster. No level 9s to go into for it, but like, yeah, it's still pretty good. And if you draw a monster later to synchro with, then that's pretty good too. And it looks like his Wajo one's just setting one and probably passing it. That's the pass. Yeah, rough stuff for them. Heavy Storm is going to be pretty big here. We know about the Whirlwind in hand as well. They know about it too, so they can Mind Crush that out of the hand. So, yeah, Mind Crush putting in work here, hitting the Whirlwind. But it does indeed clear the other set monster there. Or not set monster, but set card. Mirror of Oaths for the Shura, but I don't think that works because I think Shura activates in damage step, right? So I don't think you can Mirror of Oaths in damage step. But yeah, Crush Guard did do something, Paparez. So yeah, but unfortunately, it didn't really do too much here. Now, that being said, Dumptruck's board is like very fragile, and if History of Wajo 1 does go into like a synchro monster here, stacking a card for Plague and then something at a level 4, you can Goyo for the Goyo and then like have 2 Goyos around that Gale can only have 1. So that's something there, but yeah, he could Goyo. Yep, he could Goyo the Goyo, he could Goyo the Gale. So I think Goyo would be a good option here, but unfortunately he is not drawing what you need here to actually make that play. And now it's a little bit too late. Sidra is something you can go into a 7, potentially Dark Strike Fighter, potentially just Black Rose to nuke the board. Although Black Rose is very risky. You might just have to do it. Wait, you can't Goyo? I thought he could Goyo. You can't Goyo, or oh, you can't Mirror of Oaths. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Mirror of Oaths not really doing much here against Blackwings, but you know, people are desperate. People are desperate out here against Blackwing. Blackwing's very, very good. So yeah, Cider just attacking over Gale. You do what you have to do. If it's Kalut, it's Kalut, but it looks like it's not Kalut. So that will indeed clear the Gale. And now a Dad finally comes down here, so they do have the 3 Darks for that. So they're able to banish, pop, and Dark Strike Fighter is not... Is Dark Strike Fighter lethal? No, it's not quite lethal. It's just off lethal. Actually, you can't even do it because Plague needs to stack a card, right? So, yeah. History Wajo 1 to stabilize their board, but if Dumptruck has a way to deal with what's here, then they could potentially win this one. Setting a card, setting a monster, only 2 Darks engraved to banish, so History Wajo 1 could banish both, but Heavy Storm's going to fire off instead. It's an Icarus attack, so that will tribute the Bora, pop both monsters there. History Wajo 1 could potentially go into a... Oh, they got Rhoda. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, so Rhoda searches out probably an Armanite. Yep, Armanite will get searched out there. Probably send a Necro, right? Just get Necro engraved. But yeah, the Father Figure did arrive, and the Father Figure is gone now, but man, this game's intense. Sending a Necro... So Necro will indeed be able to protect History Wajo 1 a little bit here. They're going to BRB. I feel like you could probably just pass to Dumptruck because, like, we know exactly the one thing that History Wajo 1 can do. But yeah, Top Deck Reborn would be pretty crazy. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe they could have said pass to Dumptruck and said BRB. So, yeah, because, like, they can only Necro here. That's the only option they've got. And at least this way, like, Dumptruck could potentially draw a card, realize that it's over, and then scoop, right? Like, I don't know. There are very few cards where that would actually happen, but, like, Dad is one of them, actually. If you top deck a dead Dad here, like, you can't even bluff anything on board. So all History Wajo 1 has to do is go... I mean, I guess you could have Crow. So, like, you know, they go stack for Plague, and then you Crow it, and then you're still alive, but, like... Not ideal. But yeah, Plague plus Arma is lethal here. So, okay, but the game is going on now. So what will Dumptruck draw? Is it something that can help them out here? Or is it a brick? Very few bricks for Blackwings left here. Double Whirlwind Engrave. So, could be the 3rd Whirlwind draw, but it looks like it's a Gale. So you can have the Armanite here. Unfortunately, that will not help you the most. You can still attack into it, but the Necro Gardener will be able to banish itself. History Wajo 1 will be able to go into a Goyo here to then take control of that Gale, deal 1,500 damage, and now the shoe will be on the other foot with Dumptruck also at 300 life points. So this is such an intense game. This is just such a crazy, crazy game. So yeah, Goyo comes down, Goyo takes the Gale, dropping Dumptruck down to 300. And I mean, yeah, I mean, there are ways around it. I honestly think with History Wide 1, I think you don't take the Gale. And the reason for that is they top deck Sirocco, they win the game off that because Sirocco adds the 1300 to itself, attacks for the Goyo, and then they win. But yeah, I mean, it is Sirocco exactly that really has an issue with. I guess Shura also is brutal because you Shura over the Gale and then bring out like a Gale, and then you go into a 7 and go from there. So I think taking the Gale could have majorly backfired for History Wide 1 there, but luckily for them it did not. So yeah, but very interesting game here. Very, very intense one. Yeah, top deck Bora as well. Yeah, as King Vegeta mentioned. So actually, there were a fair amount of top decks there that he lost to by taking the Gale. But luckily, it did not come up. And again, it's a lot easier to sort of see these things when you're watching from outside of the games themselves. It's always something I try and mention when I remember to do so. So like all these sorts of things that we're pointing out, we're not trying to say that like the duels are bad or not. We're just trying to say like these moves like would probably be the better moves, right? And it's tough to know that in the moment because, the moment is a bit tricky to sort of parse out a lot of the time, especially when there's the pressure of actually being in the game and just so much stuff rushing at you to think about, right? But yeah. Yeah, also, Blizzard into Blackwing Armwing, that does it too. So yeah, a lot of different things are lethal there. But yeah, Dunrick gave him the Gale immediately. He was messing with him. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Like, History Wide 1 could have just said, no, I don't want the Gale, right? So, yeah. But yeah, luckily for History Wide 1, it did not come up. We get a game 3, which I'm happy about because even though my voice is starting to go, I do think this has been a great match. So I'm excited to see how it will work. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not even trying to bring up what I said to say, like, oh, chat, we should be more easy on it or whatever. I just bring it up as a disclaimer for anyone out there who might be thinking that, right? I'm not saying that anyone's doing that or not. I'm just saying, like, I just always like to say that just because, people can take some commentary personally when it's not meant to be personal. So, Keep said he's going to open triple Whirlwind Shura going first game 3. I mean, listen, if anyone can do it, it's Dump Truck. They are very, very good at these locals. They've won a lot of them, and that would definitely be a way to go out. Upstart plus Allure, I mean, making the triple Whirlwind option a bit more likely. So, yeah. Triple Whirlwind, Bora plus Solemn and Icarus. I mean, that would be the absolutely cracked combo there. Banshee Sirocco. Only one Whirlwind, unfortunately. We didn't get to live the triple Whirlwind dream, but that one Whirlwind will get a search for the Shura. And do you go for Gale? Do you go for Bora? Do you go for Kalut? A lot of different options here. Those sorts of are the... I'd say that's sort of the skill test for Blackwings in this format. Like, you've got so many options now that it does mean, like, knowing when to search out different things with Whirlwind really does matter a lot, right? Whereas in Edison format, it does come up a bit, but there's one Gale, so you're never searching the Gale until, like, you need it, or, like, it's like, all right, not never, but, like, okay, going for Black Rose here, maybe, to blow up the board and then do something. That's not a bad option. Going for Arma first, though, it looks like. Yeah, so I guess you could be going for OTK into Dark Strike Fighter at the end, but yeah. Yeah, just get Kalut. You have infinite Gales. Honestly, yeah. But it depends on what you got in hand. If you already have some Gales, then yes, you don't need to search out more. But if you don't have any, could be good to get some. Yeah, it's just tricky to know, especially if the opponent's like cracking back with things, right? But Arma for Necro is very good. Allure here, drawing 2, banishing 1 is very good as well. And yeah, we do know that they do play Burial, so they could potentially bury whatever they were banish off Allure. But they're just going to banish the Dad, so probably didn't have many better options in hand. Yeah, they're going to attack in for 13, 14, and 18 here, it looks like. And then it's not quite enough to kill with Dark Strike Fighter, but it is still a fair bit. So probably go into a 7 here. Probably just go into the Dark Strike Fighter just to go into it, But if you really want to, you could just go into a Black Rose without nuking the board, or Black Rose with nuking the board if you don't want the Whirlwind to survive. That's also something there. But yeah, King VJ says, going second versus Blackwings when they open Whirlwind Shura is demoralizing in any format from 2009 to 2010. Honestly, yeah, very true. And the fact that History Wide 1 is able to fight back from that is a, good thing for them, right? Like, they've been doing very well here. They just got to decide what to go into. Honestly, I think Black Rose nuking the board to prevent the Whirlwind search is very good. I don't hate that play. I think it is a very good play if they want to do it. They're going to go into the Dark Strike Fighter, though. You can also deal a bit of damage here if you want to. It's going to be 2200 damage total if you want to do it. But I feel like this is a bit too risky. With the Whirlwind up, it just makes for so many explosive plays that could happen. So I personally would not have done this, but I don't think it's terrible, right? Armor Master, yeah, that's another good option. Armor Master probably would have been... Well, it depends, because with the Armor Knight up, like, it makes it awkward, because if there's a Sirocco play, the Armor Master boosts the Sirocco, or whatever Blackwing you want to put it on, and then you attack over the Armor Knight and, like, do a ton of damage. Do you have lethal with Dad if he banished something else? If he had, yeah, so if he had synchroed with the Arma and the Gale, then he would have had 3 Darks engraved, so he could have dropped Dad and then done stuff with that. But we don't know if he had other Darks in hand. So yeah, if it's a Reborn game, that is true. Because right now it's 2200, but you can Reborn. No, actually, it's not quite game yet. But oh, or if Dumptruck has Reborn's game, that could be too. Kalut coming down, so now you get the double search off, or not double search, but just the one search off Whirlwind. But that's also a reason to search out Kalut early, because it can also search out a Gale. So yeah, Gale can do things here. Yeah, now there's an Icarus attack that's also going to be pretty good here for Dumptruck. But yeah, Gale having the Dark Strike Fighter, so Kalut can attack over it. That's pretty good. And then you could even go into an Armwing here. Although, if that is Icarus, you probably want to keep things around, but it looks like it is indeed the Icarus. So they're going to go for Icarus attack, probably tribute the Gale, and then pop the Arma and the set. Although that's risky into if History of Wide 1 has Siroccos of their own here. Looks like they are going to try to do that, and it looks like they will succeed. So getting rid of a Bottomless is pretty nice here as well. Checking their graveyards, they might have a Reborn here. Reborn would be kind of cracked here, because you Reborn the Shura, and then you get a ton of value there. But another Gale. Okay, Gale's going to be pretty good too. Oh, that's a good point, Prada. You just bring back DSF after tributing it, and that will work. So, yeah, very good point. But Gale having the Dark Strike Fighter yet again, going into a 6 here. Probably Goyo to take the Dark Strike Fighter. And yeah, it's a very, very good play from Dumptruck here. So, taking that Dark Strike Fighter, BrainCon gone, so you don't need to worry about that. But it looks like the Necrogardener will indeed banish itself there. So maybe actually you shouldn't have gone for Goyo. Maybe you should have just attacked him with a bunch here to prevent any potential burnout plays from the Dark Strike Fighter. But I think that's probably fine, because his Rewider 1 would need a lot of damage on board to actually, clear a ton of stuff. But yeah, they're going to tribute that, deal 14, and just get in what they can get with that, and then set 1. Are they going to set some more? Or is that going to be, yep, just setting 1, passing back. So it seems like they probably didn't have any other darks in hand for Allure there. But yeah, the second Gale, it does take a bit of adjustment, because, it's so used to just being like, oh, Gale's at 1. But Gale's at 3 here. He could just Gale. Gale's everywhere. It just makes things so insane. But it's kind of fun to play a format like that, where it's just like going against what you are used to, But yeah, we're at Goyo beats right now. Don't need to worry about BrainCon, so you can just keep beating him with the Goyo here. A couple more sets from History of Wide 1 saying, like, well, Heavy's probably not going to happen now, with Dumptruck having 3 sets of their own. Allure's coming down, so Allure draws 2, banish 1. And will they... Okay, they're going to banish a Dad of their own, so yeah, 4 Darks engraved there. Probably not willing to risk going for Blizzard here. Can you tribute sets with DSF? I believe you can. Yeah, just tribute 1 monster. So, yes, you can tribute sets. Yes. Yeah, Vegeta says, Gale was literally limited from the ban list that ever came out until around modern Yu-Gi-Oh times, and that is very true, which is part of what makes it so crazy to see it around. Burial coming down, so very, very clutch play there, because Burial can re-put back that Necro. Not putting back the Dad, so that implies that there could be another Dad in hand, which is a bit scary for Dumptruck, or just they're hedging their bets if they draw into their other Dad. But yeah, going for a 6 here. Do you go for another Goyo? Do you go for Armed Wing? It looks like they're going for Armed Wing here. Okay, interesting choice, but I don't hate it. Goyo attacking in first. That's also a bit interesting, but I guess you're trying to bait out the Necro. Yeah, and then Armed Wing attacking in for 23. So that will connect, and it looks like that will be no Gores. So setting 1, passing back. I feel like another Goyo could have been good, but Armed Wing is not bad. It's just, yeah, this is the risk of it, right? Sirocco is going to be pretty big here. So yeah, I think another second Goyo might have been the move. Especially because they can't, like, BrainCon take Crash, So, yeah, I don't know. Unless they've got Icarus. Icarus could be an option here. So if they've got Icarus, this makes sense. But also if you got Icarus, I feel like you just set the Icarus and then attack him with Blizzard and Goyo and leave it at that. But it looks like Book. Okay, Book is very good. Yeah, so that makes sense for the Armwing. Then the Armwing can attack over that. Deal some damage there. And get in for potential lethal. So that makes some sense. That back row could be a bit scary. Could be like Mirror Force or something. But we'll have to see what Dunfric does into it. Looks like they're just going to attack in. I think that makes a lot of sense here. Attacking in with the Armed Wing. Will that connect? Looks like that will indeed connect. So that's going to be 1900. Yep. And then return coming down. That's going to be a bit interesting. So losing 600 life points there. Bringing back the one Necro Gardener. The Necro Gardener that could. Honestly, I feel like you don't even attack into that. You could take it if you want. But like, yeah, it's just better just to leave it. Let it get banished again. So that way there's not even a chance of it getting back into grave. And they've got 4 Darks in grave. So Dad is a bit off the table there. Yeah, they needed Reborn. Unfortunately, they did not get Reborn. Or another Sirocco would have also done it. Or not quite done it, but like, even Sirocco pump is at 4,300. You either get them down to 100 or just attack over Goyo. But yeah, it's looking like this is probably going to be the end of the game. Yep. End of the game. Wow, that was intense. That was an intense one. You know, even though 88% of people voted for Blackwings, I do think that, you know, was very intense and very cool. Very close, as Dumfrick says. Yeah, and Armwing was the play there because if they turtle up, you get to just keep piercing in. So very, very cool stuff. Yeah, good games all around. So I hope you all enjoyed it. And now, since we're at the end of the locals, I will announce exclusively for the local stream until I announce it on Discord afterwards, that the Cat Format multi-day tournament, if you want to play this format for yourself on the YGF from Zero Discord server in a multi-day event, in a Swiss setting, hopefully, we will be starting it on this coming Sunday. So this coming Sunday, not tomorrow, but like the 18th. We'll be starting on the 18th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I will be setting up that tournament today, and you can join that tournament up until the tournament starts, and it should be a lot of fun. So hopefully people enjoy it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. So that will be when it's starting. I'll announce it on the Discord as well soon. And I hope you all enjoyed this locals. It was pretty fun. A lot of cool gameplay going on. Even though Blackwings does seem to be potentially the best deck, I do think this format had a lot of fun things to do. And we saw hints at potential other strategies that could succeed, like plants or zombies, or who knows what else, Lightsworn maybe as well. So we got to see exactly how the format develops further, and I'm excited to dive into it with y'all. So if you like what you saw here, head on over to the Discord server, link below. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And until next time, I've been Ben from YGF from Zero, signing off. Peace.